Hey guys! This weekend we got San Diego Comic Con, and there we got a ton of new information on the MCU and where it's going for the rest of Phase 4 and Phases 5 and 6. So, in this video, I'm just gonna go over all of the new information we got, kind of break it down, and look at what's to come for the next few years of the MCU. Let's go! All right, now my insights are just my opinions, of course, so feel free to give me your insights and what you think of these announcements about the MCU down in the comments below. Looking forward to a nice, appropriate discussion. And with that out of the way, let's jump right into it. First off, we've got the end of Phase 4. Phase 4 kicked off with Black Widow, and Kevin Feige has announced that there are only two more projects left before the end of Phase 4. We've got She-Hulk coming August 17th, 2022, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever coming November 11th, 2022. And we got new trailers for both of those projects. Yes! She-Hulk, of course, is going to be a 6-episode Disney Plus series. And we got a look at more of how the legal comedy side of it is going to play into everything. We got to see some more of She-Hulk training with Bruce Banner.
Who's your best friend?
Nikki.
Spandex. Spandex is your best friend.
Got to see a little bit more of how she's representing Abomination. We got a glimpse into the Wrecking Crew, which I'm actually really excited for. Those are some, in my opinion, underappreciated background characters in the Marvel Comics, and I'm really looking forward to see how they use them in this show.
Let's do this.
But of course, the big news is the glimpse we got into Charlie Cox's Daredevil. He appeared officially in the MCU proper in Spider-Man No Way Home. Does have a future in the MCU, so it's really exciting to see that they're planning to integrate him into the MCU more officially with She-Hulk. I am a bit worried that they're not going to quite hit the right tone with Daredevil, because the MCU has been rather jokey lately. It hasn't seemed as serious to me. But I think if they hit the right tone, then this could be a really great show. So I'm going to hold out for it. I'm a sucker for legal comedies. So I'm going to hold out and hope that She-Hulk turns out to be as good as promised. So next up, we got Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and we officially got our first trailer for that movie at Comic-Con, and it looks spectacular. Now, we didn't get a whole lot of plot details. The trailer was probably intentionally rather vague about the specifics of the plot and how all that's going to work, but we did get to see our first glimpses of Namor, who's confirmed to be in the movie. If you looked at the toy release panel with the action figures for the movie, then you know that Atuma is going to be in the movie as well, the Atlantean Conqueror. We don't have a whole lot of details yet. We don't know how T'Challa died. Obviously, with the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman, they had to rapidly adjust plans for this film. So we don't know exactly what they're going to do with how T'Challa died. We don't know who's going to be the Black Panther following his passing. So we really don't know a whole lot about this movie, but the first look does seem to be pretty awesome. And the cinematography is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So if they can hit the same tier of writing, which I think they can, then I don't see any reason why this shouldn't be an absolutely amazing project. And the real surprise was that Black Panther Wakanda Forever is going to be ending Phase 4, making it by far the shortest phase in the MCU duration-wise. But I don't know, Phase 4 has just felt really unfocused. We get a very clear multiverse path laid out. Kevin Feige announced that this was going to be Phases 4, 5, and 6 were kind of going to be the multiverse saga, similar to the way Phases 1, 2, and 3 were the Infinity Saga. And we certainly understand multiversal threats now. We had Loki and No Way Home and Doctor Strange 2 that all introduced us to the multiverse. But aside from that, all of these other projects, things like Moon Knight and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Shang-Chi, we haven't really gotten to understand how those fit in to the kind of multiverse path we're on. So Phase 4 has felt rather unfocused at times, but I'm holding out faith that they'll be able to kind of clarify the narrative and streamline it with Phase 5. Moving on to Phase 5, we got the full slate. And it's a really exciting thing to look at. We're going to kick off with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which is coming out February 17th, 2023. And we got the exciting announcement, at least it was exciting for me, that MODOK will be a villain present in this film. And there's a lot of potential with MODOK. You can take him comedic, you can take him horror, you can take him just played as a straight comic book villain. But I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with that. And of course, we've known for a while that Jonathan Majors' Kang the Conqueror is going to appear in this film. And there was a sneak peek shown at Comic-Con, and I especially loved the bit where Ant-Man was like, "I'm an Avenger," and Kang said, "I'm a Conqueror," in reply. So I really think it's going to be interesting to see how they take the Ant-Man franchise, which has kind of just been always a back burner franchise in the MCU, never really quite as important to the overall narrative as, say, the Iron Man trilogy.
Who are you?
And kind of transform it into this big, important event. But it looks to be interesting. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with all these different characters. I'm just really excited to see what they do with that. So I'm going to hold out hope for that, and we'll see what happens. Next up, we've got Secret Invasion, the Disney Plus series that's going to follow the comic storyline dealing with the Skrull race and their kind of shape-shifting invasion of the Earth. But we haven't really been given many plot details. It is going to be interesting. In the comics, the Skrulls were more of the bad guys, whereas in the MCU, they've been portrayed more as innocent victims. So it will be interesting to see how they handle the whole invasion part in light of that. But Secret Invasion, spring 2023, I definitely am going to be on the lookout for that one. I really liked Winter Soldier because of the spy themes of it. So I'm really excited to kind of dive back into that world of intrigue and spies with this project.
Prove you're not a Skrull.
Next up, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is coming May 6, 2023. And we did get the official announcement of Adam Warlock is going to be in the film, and we got the casting announcement for him. We got the casting announcement for Cosmo the Space Dog. And we didn't get a whole lot of plot details. I do know they released a trailer. They showed it to the people in the actual room at Comic-Con, but I wasn't there, so I don't know what was in that trailer. I have seen a lot of comments saying it was very emotional and that this is going to be a very emotional film. And I'm interested to see what they do with that. just gonna put my faith in James Gunn because he has a talent for writing ensemble films and bringing together these characters and giving them emotional importance. So I'm just gonna wait and see how that turns out, but I'd say I'm fairly excited for it. It's something new to come, so let's go with it. Next up, we've got Echo coming in summer of 2023. And this is going to be a Disney Plus series, kind of a spin-off from the Hawkeye series, and Maya Lopez as Echo, who was introduced in that series. And we've got Vincent D'Onofrio coming back as Kingpin, confirming he did survive that scene in Hawkeye. Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Haven't gotten a lot of plot details, not a ton of additional characters or casting revealed as of yet. So, I don't really know all that much about Echo as a character.
Knows nothing.
But I think she has potential, and they can do some interesting things with her in the future. So, I guess we'll leave it at that. Next up, we've got Loki Season 2, coming summer 2023. And this one I'm actually really excited for because I was so utterly confused by the ending of Loki Season 1. Really, I don't quite understand what happened to Loki. So I'm just interested to see how they carry that out. Not a ton of plot details or anything for that, but just I want to see what happens next. They've got me intrigued, they've got me hooked, so I'm ready to follow along for the journey. Next up, we've got The Marvels coming July 28th, 2023. And this is going to be a film that ties together Monica Rambeau, Carol Danvers, and Kamala Khan in one big, marvelous adventure.
Bad joke.
After the post-credits scene at the end of Miss Marvel's first season, I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this, because that post-credit scene was almost indecipherable, kind of difficult to understand what it was supposed to mean, what it was supposed to tell us.
I don't understand.
So, I want to see this movie. I wasn't a huge fan of the first Captain Marvel movie. I thought it was rather basic, kind of bland. But I am interested to see what they do with these characters and with this storyline, and specifically kind of more exploring the cosmic side of the MCU. In addition to Guardians, really Captain Marvel has been our kind of cosmic part of the MCU. So I just want to see what they're going to do with that. I think it has potential, but I don't think it's going to be one of my favorites. Next up, we've got Blade, coming November 3rd, 2023. And Blade is kind of interesting for me because of kind of the repercussions it could have on the MCU. We already kind of off-screen met Blade in the post-credit scene of Eternals when he was talking to Dane Whitman. And I'm interested to see how they're going to bring those two characters together, or if they're going to even bring them together at all. But what's especially interesting is that Mahershala Ali will be playing Blade, and he previously played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
Everybody wants to be the king.
And with Charlie Cox as Daredevil appearing in the MCU, kind of, we're all holding our breath and waiting to see how they're going to integrate the Netflix shows with the MCU proper. And this casting decision is one of those things that makes it really confusing to understand.
This is confusing!
Because I suppose they could just explain it away as there happen to be doppelgangers that look very similar, but that's not really that's not really a satisfying explanation. So I do want to know how they're going to address Mahershala Ali playing Blade in light of what they did in Luke Cage with him as Cottonmouth. Next up, we've got Ironheart, the Disney Plus series coming in fall of 2023. And I don't know, we did find out that Ironheart is going to be in Black Panther 2. She was in the trailer. But I'm not particularly excited for this one. I mean, Ironheart as a character just doesn't particularly intrigue me, and I'm not a huge fan of the way they've essentially just rewrote all the new Avengers by giving them female counterparts. And I don't know, I'll certainly be interested, I'll certainly watch the show, but I don't have huge expectations from it, and I don't have a huge amount of interest in the character. And those things combined kind of make me less interested in the show. Now, we'll see, my opinion may change when Black Panther 2 comes out. She may be an incredibly interesting character within that film, and I might be excited to see more from her. But at this point, this is really one of the projects I'm least excited about. I'll be there, but I won't be there very excitedly. Next up, we've got Agatha, Coven of Chaos, formerly named Agatha, House of Harkness. And this is going to be the spin-off following Agatha Harkness after the whole Westview incident in WandaVision. And we don't have an official date for this series. It's coming winter of either 2023 or 2024, which is rather interesting that they don't have a year settled down for that. And when they first announced this project, I was really excited because I absolutely loved WandaVision. It was probably my favorite of the Disney Plus series, and I was interested to see what they would do with the character. But the more I reflect on it, I'm not really sure. This will be the first anti-hero or villain-centric project in the MCU, unless, of course, you count Infinity War as kind of Thanos' movie, which is a fair point of view. But this is going to be the first time they've really taken a long time and brought us clearly as the absolute main character, someone who's been previously established as a villain. And it looks like they're going to be doing a lot more villain-centric things in the MCU. We'll get to that in a minute. But I don't know. I'm not really sure what else they can do with the character. They could surprise me. They could have a great, compelling storyline. But at this moment, I'm not really sure I feel the spinoff was justified. It certainly did get me excited because Catherine Hahn did a fantastic job of playing the character. So I definitely want to see more of her. But I don't know if I quite feel that she was the one that needed a spin-off series. Next up, we've got what I count as one of the two most exciting announcements within Phase 5. We've got Daredevil Born Again, in spring 2024, an 18-episode Disney Plus series. And I absolutely love the character of Daredevil. I love the way Charlie Cox portrayed him and the energy he brings to that role. I'm really excited that they're going to take the time to flesh out his character with an 18-episode series. Really, I'm not in love with the 6-episode format that most Disney Plus shows have taken. I just don't feel that it's the right number, because Disney Plus shows have a tendency to start off strong, dip and meander and be a little boring in those middle 2 episodes, and then have an okay but not fantastic finisher. So I feel like with an 18-episode series, they forced themselves to take the time to really expand on the character, fully examine him, and give him a fulfilling storyline. So I absolutely cannot wait to see Daredevil Born Again. Now, coming up next, our next to last project in Phase 5, we've got Captain America 4, New World Order. And that's coming May 2nd, 2024. And we've now got Sam Wilson as Captain America. Not a whole lot of other casting announcements. I assume Bucky Barnes will appear in this film, but I haven't seen any confirmation of that. Now, I'm excited to see a new Captain America movie. I've liked all the Captain America movies. Winter Soldier is one of my favorites in the MCU. But I am a bit worried because I did not really love Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's one of, if not my least favorite of the Disney Plus series. I just felt like the writing and the way they particularly wrote Sam Wilson near the end and Carly Morgenthau kind of throughout the series, I didn't love that writing. So I'm a bit worried for how they're gonna make this film turn out. And I'm also not really clear on what the next step is for Sam. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Now, lastly, the other thing I am most excited for within Phase 5, our final project within Phase 5, they announced the Thunderbolts movie, coming July 26, 2024. And the Thunderbolts, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is essentially Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad. And that's why I love it, because I absolutely love DC's Suicide Squad. I love the concept of taking these reluctant villains and kind of messed up anti-heroes and putting them together and forcing them to work for the government. And I just feel it allows so much potential, because really you could have them do anything. You could play it comedic, you could play
we're here to save you.
it very dark and violent, you could play it as kind of a moral question. Does the government have a right to be doing this with these people? So I'm just really excited to see how that's gonna come out. We haven't gotten a lot of casting announcements, but I feel I'm going to go ahead and say I predict that we're going to see Yelena Belova, U.S. agent. I'm blanking on the name of the character, Val, from Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Black Widow's post-credits scene. I definitely think we're going to see her. Of course, Thunderbolt Ross. The team is named after him, so I expect we'll see him in some capacity. And Abomination. Aside from that, I'm not entirely sure. They'll probably bring Baron Zemo in. I am interested to see what they do with his character. He was one of the bright spots in Falcon and the Winter Soldier for me. But outside of that, I don't really know what to expect from this project. But I am absolutely excited, and I cannot wait to get more information as we go along. Now, before I get to Phase 6 and all the fun announcements we got from there, please do remember to, in the comments, give me your thoughts and your opinions on what you thought about all these announcements and what we have to expect from the MCU in the next few years. And if you like this video, then why don't you give it a like, a nice little thumbs up, and consider subscribing for more fun geek space content. Let me know what you want me to do for my next video. If you want me to rank these projects by excitement, go back and rank previous MCU projects, or maybe move on to another fandom. Alright, so kicking off Phase 6, we've got Fantastic Four, coming November 8th, 2024.
Fantastic Four. Didn't you guys chart in the 60s?
And this is the thing we all kind of knew was coming. Kevin Feige announced a Fantastic Four movie was in the works back in 2019. We all knew they had acquired the rights to the character when Disney purchased Fox. So we all knew this was coming. We haven't gotten any casting details, plot details, uh, crew details. We don't know who's writing, who's directing. We don't know anything really. But I'm interested. I enjoy the Fantastic Four as characters. I definitely don't feel they've been done justice with past movies concerning them. So I'm definitely interested to see where they're going to take this and how they're going to tie it in to this whole multiverse saga. I have to say, I did enjoy John Krasinski's performance in Doctor Strange 2 as Reed Richards. I
have children of my own. I understand your pain.
definitely be interested in seeing him play more of Mr. Fantastic, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I am excited for this project. Next up, there were quite a few spots left blank within Phase 6. We only got 3 projects officially announced, and I believe it was 6 blank spaces to be filled by a combination of Disney Plus series and films. But the next film we got announced was Avengers 5, The Kang Dynasty, coming May 2nd, 2025. And I'm excited for this one. Kang looks to be a good threat. I've certainly enjoyed his character, especially in the animated series Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I enjoyed the way his character was portrayed there. I enjoy the concept of his character. He definitely makes a logical follow-up to Thanos in terms of the amount of threat that he can bring against the Avengers. But I mean, I'm really interested to see how this one plays out. They do have a lot of time, but as of yet, we don't really know who are the Avengers now. We don't have Scarlet Witch any longer. We are uncertain what we've got to expect from Thor, Hulk, and Hawkeye. Of course, we no longer have Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Black Widow. So, really, we don't know quite what to expect from an Avengers film. So, I'm interested to see where they go with this. I'm interested to see how they set it up. I feel like with the right setup and the right directing, writing, and casting, they can make this an amazing movie. But if they don't, then we could get another Age of Ultron. Not a bad movie by any count, but certainly not a great movie. But I am interested to see what they do with Kang, so fingers crossed. And finally, our last project announced, we've got Avengers 6 Secret Wars, coming November 5th, 2025. And I'm excited for this one. This kind of based off the Secret Wars plotline in the comics, where different parts of different worlds were brought together in kind of a mashed up battle world situation. And I want to see where they go with that. When you've got a kind of crossover like Secret Wars, there's so much untapped potential as to what you can do, what characters you can bring in, the scale you can go on, and I absolutely want to see a big in-game reminiscent final event. I definitely want to see these 3 phases culminate in something epic. So I'm excited for this movie. I want to see how they set it up. I want to see what they do with it. I'm interested to see if they're going to keep Kang as the villain for this movie, or if they're going to go with the more traditional comics villain behind Secret Wars, either the Beyonder or Doctor Doom, both of whom I'd like to see in the MCU. But, yeah, I'm excited for this project. Okay, guys, so that's all of the MCU announcements we got from San Diego Comic-Con. And I am excited to see all this new content and see what direction the MCU takes as we wrap up Phase 4 and move on to Phases 5 and 6. Don't forget to give me your thoughts in the comments down below, and let me know what Geek Space topic you'd like me to cover next. Until next time, adios.